Hello everyone, Grimjob here. Welcome back to the channel. Another little 1v1 that I played last week, I think, versus a guy called Daunt Hamilcar. Turns out to be a spicy little game. It's what we all live for, of course. On my favorite map, Valley, playing as the sweatiest doctrine all around West. Easily the best doctrine in playing as Axis, or playing as Germans at least. So this wasn't a ranked game, um, but we managed to. Don't usually get a really good games like this. Um, as often the problem is the ping, playing against people from other side of the world compared to Australia. But we did manage to get a good host with Beast was kind enough to host this game, so we finally got to play, and neither of us could really complain about lag. So get to see who gets to come out on top of this matchup. As I've talked about before, getting control of that sort of L-shaped trench is going to be super key, but a little bit of a misclick. Somehow I've sent one of my second squad into the middle of no man's land as opposed to capping my home point, so they're going a little bit of a detour, and it's going to take me a little bit of time to contest that, my home point. But yeah, had a bit of a break from posting videos, although I have quite a few good videos to post, so I might do that in the next few days, get a few more videos out, sort of teach, maybe learn a thing or two from my gameplay, or maybe what not to do, as is sometimes the case. So, grenade micro is king, and as he's still capping my home point, I'm gonna have to bring in another squad of just shitty, cheap inf to get that back. As I'll send my better infantry to contest the mid and his on the west side of the map. As is now meta, spamming or making sure that every single one of my rifle grenades is drop the K98 and is firing HE. I think most people are doing that now. So it's really good to have a guy inside the circle. So you can see it's only 0.5 in there, so I just need to have two blokes in the circle and I'll start capping. So this guy, he's got his own channel. Definitely, I'm enjoying watching his videos and learning a thing or two from one of the better players for sure. So definitely go check out Dawn's channel. Hamilcar, I think he goes well. So we've managed to get entrenched in that point, but he's got a lot of infantry out in the field. But as the good thing is this, so he's got a lot of map control, but I certainly not going to panic and definitely know that I can spam just as much infantry as this doctrine. There's a little bit of micro there, making sure the grenade rifle is full of grenades to shoot. I think something I want to do better in my gameplay is using my light vehicles more effectively. And I think I need to micro them individually a little bit more, rather than just letting the AI sort of fire the MG or the machine gun or the main gun on the tank. Usually I'm trying to micro my infantry quite a lot, but I think it's more effective to try and micro a vehicle often. So MG team to sort of get overwatch over this approach to my home point. And I got a lot of goons sort of in the approaches to this midpoint. I like to sort of not blob guys up and sort of push them forward one by one like this, rather than get them all wiped by some guy with a PPSH hiding in a bush. Pop a little bit of smoke, get some foxholes down for cover. As does exactly what I would do. Gets a flamethrower into that building, which is always good to burn that building down pretty much because it only helps the person playing Axis. So there's a bit of a gap in my lines there in between my point and the midpoint. I want to plug that if I can, but this flamer is punishing me. But here come my favorite unit in the whole game at this stage. Used to be the assault flamers in the Soviets. I think this is giving it a good run for its money. The assault, the level of the Vet 5 Sturm Grenadiers. So they're so good. 345 health, high weapon skill, so they're really accurate. And they do high cap weight as well. They don't carry too many smokes, but they're super, super strong. And if you time it sort of right, you can keep calling them in throughout the game in conjunction with the half track. So you can get them come in a half track, or you can get them just come in on foot. Very hard to deal with. Sort of get them in this kind of position, spread out with sort of within effective range is probably like 50 meters. So he's bringing in a whole blob there, and you can see always want to be checking your mini-map, see what might be popping up in the fog of war, and I can see a light, that little shape, that red shape there, and I know it's going to be a T-50. Oh, a T-50, it's a BT-7A. I'm mistaken. A little bit of grenade, clear that one guy out, tip it over to my favor. This is not good for my half track. I want it to turn around and face the enemy so we can start hammering away, but so I'm going to pick up the MG out of there. I didn't need to, actually had an MG, but I just wanted to grab some more ammo out of the back of the half track. That's very generous of him, so leave me some bullets. As you can see there, I'm sort of waiting for my next STG squad to be on off refresh. Try and plug that gap as well that I mentioned before. But yeah, this is a great game. I remember heading into it, me and Daunt played a couple of games, but we couldn't really, were very, very, very closely matched, and so the lag was the deciding factor, but in this one, not the case. Here comes the half track with a bunch of these STGs. It's pretty much all I'm going to call in for infantry, just swap between the two. A little bit of ammo from the MG assistant, trying to get him. There we go, extra box. And I guess an extra gun too, why not? Get the guy in the circle of a capway. So 422 to 247, feeling okay about things as they stand, but knowing that I'm going to have to keep the locked in, keep intensity up. Certainly keep pushing him back, but the BT7 is a bit of a tricky customer to deal with. Problem is, if you want to buy something to counter an early tank, you're going to have to invest pretty heavy in a Panzer IV maybe, or a Hetzer, or something like that, which is going to then, savings for that is going to cost you for infantry. So I decided I was just going to out infantry him. I was going to bring out so many guys that one tank can't possibly kill them all. Keep that infantry parity is more important than a tank parity. This guy's hiding in the shed and he's about to get a face full of STG. See you later. Also trying to do a little bit more like individual micro with going like first person or third person and getting a few kills that way rather than just staying up in the default sort of view. As I can try to get him to shoot. They do hit him, but this guy, the PBSH, does exactly what I was probably swearing at the at the game right then. He just killed my whole squad of guys out of my 5 centimeter half track, or 2 centimeter half track. Slightly frustrating. As he's doing the right thing by trying to, obviously pushing into the middle. He's lost a ton of guys. He's gotten cut to pieces, but he's sort of trying to push me off balance where I've only got shitty infantry. So if he backed this push up with a light vehicle, that could have really spelt a lot of danger for me, or even push the for example, push the BT7 up with this thing, up with this push. That would have really been tricky to deal with. Often I find when I'm making a push, I don't fully commit to it sometimes, and I'm only half doing it. Only sending in a few guys, whereas I could send in more, but there's a bit of a balance to be had. But here they come. This is a good place to do some shoot through the fence. The STGs can pen the fence. I want to see if I do that here. I'll lose the 5 centimeter. Oh, a 5 centimeter half track would be nice, but a 2 centimeter. There we go. Just shows you can wallbang these fences with the STG with the 7.92 caliber weapons. Pretty strong. Much more than an SMG would. So there's a guard squad dead, and still got the mid, so I've held on there. Sometimes if you're trying to really hurry, you can misclick a grenade and it can go in the opposite direction you wanted it to go. It feels pretty derpy. I have a sniper out as well, and it's another good map for a sniper, that's for sure. If you can get him covering the nature of this map, literally titled Valley. Valleys are always good for snipers. Good sit on one side of the hill and shoot the other. By a tank crew, try and see if I can get away with repairing that 2 centimeter. Remember, this guy had an MG, so I'm gonna try and pick it up, but one thing I do think with the Soviet support doctrine, I don't think it's as strong as it as maybe some people think it is. It's sort of, you don't get any, specifically you don't get any artillery really with it. You have to sort of use the HE rounds in whatever tank you get as the artillery in a sense. So it does sort of lack against anti-infantry, I would say, against an infantry-heavy approach from your opponent. As these guys all just arrived to say, where's my new ride? And it's on fire. Drop the gun out of the arty signaler and make sure he's going to be popping flares. At this stage, feeling pretty happy about things. Still don't have a counter to the BT-7, but it's not doing tons of damage. If I can get all my guys behind cover, those rounds aren't... The HE rounds are fairly inaccurate. It's got a stubby little gun on it. I'll keep spamming these Sturmgrens. I think he's seen my signaler. Slowly move up. I'd like to see my guys push up here. Try and even get up to his side of the river and even across to give myself a nice home control, but here I'd like to see push on his side of the map. I haven't really tested him. He does have the BT-7 up there, but smoke. I send one guy around sort of to just scout a bit, check it out, and I will buy just your average grenadier squad to fill out a bit of extra infantry presence while I had a bit of manpower and CPU. So I've got tons of infantry. I don't know if it's all doing work for me though. Good reason why you want to push up. So that this push here was sort of seen and can be countered a bit more effectively, a bit earlier. So I've decapped the mid just with, I think, inflicting casualties rather than putting my own guys in there, but that flare's gonna trick. He's actually got the right weapon selected. He's not running around just with his hands in his pockets. So you can just see how much infantry I'm able to spam with this doctrine. It's very hard to counter. Does finally get a... he's probably waiting for me to make this make a move, see if I was going to buy a Hetzer or a Stug or maybe even a pack half track, but I don't. Saving my D. I went for a Signaler instead, so it feels like he's probably got a bit of safety. He can go for the 2 T-34s. But I've got a plan. I just need to hold on for another 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes. See if you can guess what I'm going to be going for here. I'd like to see some smoke with this push. Yeah. People usually get quite aggressive with the T-34s, thinking they're kind of invulnerable, maybe. Or because you got 2 of them, you're in a really good spot, but they are very vulnerable to handheld AT, Panzerfaust and Panzerschrecks. So he's doing a good job here to pick up, get into the midpoint and back him up. Back it up with infantry, tanks and infantry, that's how you want to work. But I do lose my RD Signaler, and luckily I had eyes on him as he died. So I'm going to get everything out of his inventory and then pick up the pistol. It's such a tiny little icon, it's hard to actually click on with a high mouse sense and a small monitor like I have. But I notice I don't actually have I don't have any flares. I've got my flare pistol. You can see my thought process there. I've missed picking up the flares out of the inventory, so I'm going to have to grab those. I think pushing one of the T-34s on the east side would have worked for him. Yeah, kill my half track. Let's move his way towards my home point. Try and get a bit of trap pressure. As I do finally get the flare and the flares themselves. But if you can sort of push someone's home point, you can tip them off a little bit. And then they won't be able to fully commit to your side if they're trying to defend themselves. So more Sturmgrens, of course. Build some cover. That's a nice play. The assault grenadiers that he's probably spamming can't dig foxholes, so might need to make his own cover there. So he does push the T-34 around. Maybe he's going for my half track, but perhaps also he realizes that's a little bit risky. Doesn't have quite so much infantry there, and you never want to push tanks ahead of infantry, of course. We all know that. I think, for example, this would be a better spot for me to actually be microing my Panzerschreck than trying to get all these guys into cover. For example, I think he's giving me a shot there on that T-34 at the top of the map, but I really wanted this flare with this infantry push. Yeah, for example here, it's giving me an opening. So it's one thing having lots of actions per minute, it's another thing having effective actions per minute, I think. So I do get some bandages for my for my Signaler guy. Finally realize this T-34 is sitting for me. I see he just hits the nitrous oxide and just powers past. It's so hilarious. Nice side shot. Kill 3 of the crew. He's lucky probably not to get one tap there, I would say. Panzerschreck to the side. He does manage to get behind a shed. That's going to prepared, I would say. A little reminder that in late war, like Soviets, Germans, US, they all get handheld AT that's super strong, so got to keep those vehicles back. This guy's gonna pop his head up and reload the flare. Can't shoot because he's still on cooldown. It's interesting the points are still only 468, 229 as well. We both have been capping and uncapping this point, that it's sort of stayed neutral. So I'm a little bit wary about, he's obviously got his tank sitting there out in the open, but I'm definitely wary of the IS-2. So I'm going to get an officer out so I can spot for it. Drop the pistol, drop the FP40, get the binoculars out. Sniper missing. Let's go back to the range. So I get a little glimpse of that IS-2. With the ace commander, it's super dangerous because it can be it's very accurate. And it zeroes in real quick, so if I lose the Tiger, it's most probably GG, so I want to be dancing around here with 3 tanks versus my 1 tank as well. Possibly I could get, if I got really unlucky and got side-shotted at the side of the turret, 234, probably pen. Pop a little flare, keep myself the point back. Oof. BT-7 just kills the Commissar itself. And a supply truck. He must have run into the supply truck and blown himself up. That's quite unfortunate. Sometimes the pathing can be dodgy as fuck. Lucky Hamilcar. But we take those. More STGs. Get the tank crew. There's eyes moving up the side of the point. There's not a lot of cover for this tank as well of mine. There's a couple of houses there that I can probably hide behind, that's about it. This one, this nice little shed with tank cover behind. Peek my head out and he's just noticed me. It's too late. Yes. As he's coming to me here. Try and shoot the commander out of the hatch. Shoots my half track, no big deal. So I've swung the momentum somewhat around to me. Got the flare as well, still up. Probably got 4 or 5 left, so. As people often do this, they'll get flared and then push forward, so you want to be ready. You want to make sure you've got guys with assault rifles or submachine guns ready to grenade them. Sniper plugging away still. I think if you're prone, you take less damage from a grenade, even if it's close to you. You still, as opposed to dying, you might take half the damage. I might be wrong, but someone can correct me if I am. So if a grenades are coming close to you, you can hit the deck. Speaking of grenades, it's absolute carnage in there. We both just F1 spam at the same time. And I'm not sure who won in that engagement. I think I got all my STG guys that I had in the river got wiped, so I'd say maybe it was him. Call in my last unit of DP. Spot the T-34, the officer, being wary of the IS-2. I think I would have liked to see him try and get across the river into that L shape a little bit more. Would have possibly been helpful for him, rather than sort of going into the back at this point, which is just the open ground. So tiptoeing forward with the Tiger, and it's not a great idea because I'm not behind any cover. Half tracks. That was poor. Gets out. So I want to kind of close in on him here and sort of shut the trapdoor if I can a little bit. But there's I'm very timid with my tank. So I don't really need to do too much here. I've kind of got the advantage. I've got manpower still on the bank. I've got Flare with 3 still left in it, and he's gonna probably run out of options before I am. I just got to make sure that if I get into a tank engagement, I don't lose it. So I'm trying to spot. I don't see it, so I feel like maybe I'm safe to push that T-34, but I decide no, I don't need to. I'm taking the lead now. I'm not impatient. Let's try and push up a bit, take a bit more ground. This flare right to the back of the point. We might have an officer. Is the thinking. Salter is getting it pounded. But now I got eyes on the IS-2 and those reversing. So I'm going to take this opportunity. Bounce off the turret, of course. As here he comes. The IS-2, this is going to be pretty crucial. Not quite sure where the weak spots are. I imagine it's the front lower plate. But it's a little bit hard for me to get a shot off when he's moving forward like this. See maybe the cheeks of the turret as well. Somehow we both fired 2 shots, no one's connected. I'm going to reload faster than him though, I'm going to get more shots off. There we go, lower front plate it is. Still going to be up, I haven't hit the turret. He's just parked, he's protecting it. As I just want to make sure I don't get side shotted here, I got to quickly react. Do hit it and turn my attention back to this one, which can't actually hit me from this range, so I'm actually safe. So I'm going to just finish the T-34-85 off. Back out of there. Don't get too cocky, try and finish off the IS-2, although I think at this point with the triple cap and a lot of manpower advantage, even losing the King Tiger wouldn't be the end of the world. So there's a good tip. You can see when you try and move all the inventory over, sometimes it doesn't quite pick up the flare, so I'm gonna, there we go, learn my lesson. Got 2 left. And basically, game's kind of over now. Give them the coup de grace. So this is where I could be individually microing this half-track a bit better. Actually getting in the MG, firing it myself, but crazy. Okay, so this guy has the driver of this thing has a Panzer Faust. I'm going to see if I can drive right up to him, jump out, Panzer Faust him in the side of the face, but he does get the engine running and blast me to oblivion. But that's pretty much all she wrote there. So he calls the GG. And it was a really great game. Hopefully we can play again soon. Thanks for watching. See ya.